All right, Samuel, I know you will be tempted to say something that this didn't happen in the National Assembly because APC has almost everything. But I want us to move on, but probably in the conversation around El-Rufai, you will have the opportunity to say that. He is still in the custody of the EFCC as we speak. Do you think he deserves that?
No. If you use the word, "do I think he deserves that?" That means you're being biased and this.
Far from that. I did connectivity with Danjuma, but I'm sure the technical crew will fix it. So I asked him, but he said I wanted to be biased when I said El-Rufai deserve to be in the custody of EFCC. I was thinking he should be in court today.
Yes. You see, the issue of El-Rufai has been a popular voice against this government since the inception of this government, after the government has been established fully. And if you look at it, he worked tiredly for this government during the entire electoral process. He stand for Tinubu, he campaigned for APC, but I could see El-Rufai said, look, I work for APC, and he personally does not, agree with what? With the system
because
of government.
He's not part of the system?
Maybe that is why.
Because I remember...
let me tell you.
Doctor, I remember, during the electioneering, many of them said it wasn't about personal benefit. Or whatever, about Nigeria. Now, do you think if he were in the government...
Very good. He will be against... But if you look at it, El-Rufai being the type of person I understand him to be, he was also one time against the government regime of President Muhammad Buhari or Blessed Mulberry in those days. You understand now?
Even though he was
governor at them. And we know his relationship with the presidency by then. So if he is such, I won't say a controversial person politically, but he tried to have his own political perception of governance and the followership citizens. So the moment he sees some crack in between these two variables, you see him, I won't say he's taking advantage, but you see him coming out to say, look, this is my position. He could be radical in his approach. I have said it, you understand now. And his radicalism is not about what? His political ideology, you understand now. It's about, that is his approach personally to issues.
But is he not heating up the polity? Some of these allegations, coming from him. Of course, we heard that the EFCC, they have laid some conditions for him to fulfill and leave their premises pending maybe appearance in court. But then DSS, they are also looking around waiting for him to now take him. Don't you think he's overloaded? Let me put it this way.
Yes, you see, these are all instruments of the government, you understand now. Because if you are fighting the government will also use its machinery to fight you back. You like it or you don't like it, understand now. There's no two way about it. Because as far as the government of the day is concerned, they have their approaches, they have their mission, they have their vision, and they have their apparatus on the ground. Every government will come with its own new political, system of governance. The moment you say, look, no, this is, even at the beginning, this is what we have on track. This is our agreement. But now you are shifting, you are deviating from our core political, manifestos. Then the government will tell you, look, based on the circumstance of what we found on the ground today, we have to shift ground, you understand now, for the interest of government. If you are being very hard, you are giving a hardliner posture, the government will take it against you.
All right, I think we have Samuel Danjuma back with us via Zoom. Mr. Danjuma, yes, welcome back. Sorry for the glitch. Yes, I asked you the question, but you wanted to fire it back.
At least this is also going to portray my point when it comes to real-time transmission of results. You just saw what happened in the course of this program. Now, back to the first question you asked me. If you say it's not fair on El-Rufai, that means we're not being fair and we are being biased on the EFCC, which is mandated by the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria to fight issues of corruption and corruption. Now, why is El-Rufai at the EFCC. Every Nigerian can be called to respond to questions. And it is left for us to wait for the outcome of the exercise that is being taken place at the EFCC head office by questioning him. He who alleges, the burden of proof falls on he who alleges. Malam Nasir El-Rufai made some very weighty allegations, and it is normal for him to go and explain to the agency how he got some of this information and make his points clear. So it's not anything about witch hunt. It's not anything about you fighting government and government to come hard on you. No, we know the person of El-Rufai. If you read the book of President Olusegun, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, My Watch, and you watch the words he used for the person of El-Rufai, you will understand that this is who he is. Earlier today, Panika, the former Minister of Aviation, wrote some very unpalatable things about Malam Nasir El-Rufai. I responded, and I told him at this point, this is not what we need. Allow the agencies to do their job. When they are done with their findings, it will be made public. I think it's high time we stop this public bringing issues of such to the court of public opinion. No, allow the agencies which is empowered by the Constitution to carry out those assignments, to carry out their assignments effectively. Let's not put them under duress. Let's not put them under pressure. Let's not make it look as if they are being used by the government. No, he made weighty allegations, and he who alleges must prove. That is
okay, Samuel, were they not aware of what Obasanjo wrote in his book when they quoted El-Rufai ahead of the election, when they wanted his firebrand approach to campaigning and all of that? Were they not aware?
See, in politics, all games are fair. Now, at the point they needed El-Rufai, the Mr. President kept to his promise of telling El-Rufai that he wants him to work in his government. And his name was submitted. You and I were in this country when there were reports that Malam Nasir El-Rufai stands as a security risk. So, this report was what was submitted to the National Assembly that led to the disqualification of Malam Nasir El-Rufai. And this was justified by his statement in court on Arise TV, where he alleged, not alleged, now where he said, is the exact word, that someone hacked the phone of the National Security Advisor.
Good.
And they had the conversation that they were instructed that he be arrested. You can't come on national TV and say all this. See, one thing Malam Nasir El-Rufai does is he plays with the emotions of the people. At one point, he knows what the people want. He knows what the people want to hear. He goes about saying them. Do you want to tell me if Malam Nasir El-Rufai was actually cleared as the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, would he have been saying what he's saying? We should stop justifying people of questionable character. I've said it on your channel before that Malam Nasir El-Rufai is a man of questionable character. You don't justify a man who says anything just to get what he wants.
All right.
We're in this country where Malam Nasir El-Rufai said that if observers are coming and they are going to do the bidding of the foreign nations, they should be ready to go back in body bags. Is that what?
Okay, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you.
Knowing the kind of
Let me have your take.
And how volatile this country is.
Dr. Suleiman, I ask that if El-Rufai did not leave APC, will all of these things be happening? Because we hosted a number of politicians, analysts, and all that on this platform who said if he were in APC, even if he didn't, get any appointments, they wouldn't have been trailing him left, right, and center.
You see, I have mentioned the political characteristics of Malam Nasir El-Rufai earlier before now. Let me go to your question. If you would have been an APC man, it would have nothing to happen to him, because every mother trying to protect her own baby, it would have been a baby of this party, of the ruling party, you understand now? But looking at the personality of El-Rufai, his political experience, when it comes to political campaign and what he can offer, you understand now? The ruling party knows it is time for us to tame El-Rufai.
Okay, that is why probably
that is so proper and let me tell
but do you think at the end of the day, I mean, who will, I mean, blink first?
Of course, the government. Of course. You see, without any allegation, if there's no fire and no smoke, there won't be any fire. If there's no fire, there won't be any smoke. If you see the government agency going against El-Rufai, but let me honestly, I will tell you, from every statistic, they must have one reason or the other against Parliament through El-Rufai.
But will they win at the end of the day?
Win to win or not to win. But what they want to project about the Parliament of El-Rufai, that look, this man is not above the law. This man is not above what? The constituted authority. This is what they want to show every Nigerian. Because look, if you are using El-Rufai as an experiment, understand now, so those that doesn't have the strength and doesn't have the national and international connection like El-Rufai will know that, look, we should not joke with this government. They mean what they are doing. This is what this lesson I want everybody to know about it. And let me tell you, if you have had the telephone conversation of Mr. Nuhu Ribadu with the NSA, then why is it now that we are approaching electioneering process that they are bringing against him? Why not earlier before now? You understand now? Why don't they check all his activities before now? You understand now? Table it, take him to court. You understand now? With due process. Take the legal process. You understand now?
So probably he said what he said out of anger. Okay, let me get final thoughts from Samuel Danjuma. Where do you think this legal battle will end between El-Rufai and the government? Because I wish we got Barrister Buhari, who will have given us the legal perspective. Because some people said government will have to use a lot to get evidence to actually nail El-Rufai at the end of the day. Because by me saying he has done this, he has done this, they too should prove that indeed he tapped into, for instance, the telephone of the National Security Advisor. I have just 1 minute for you, please.
Why I'm going to talk about it is because it's still at the investigation stage. If it was in court, I don't discuss issues that are already in court and before a court of competent jurisdiction. Now, El-Rufai made it wasn't an allegation, it was an acceptance, an admissive statement that he knew that alone is enough to nail El-Rufai, because he said it on national TV. There is no ignorance before the law is not an excuse. So, Malam Nelson El-Rufai nailed himself by granting that interview on Arise TV. Malam himself said a lot of unpalatable things, where he talked about him and Mr. President. One person will go that he gave an example of former late President Umar Musa Yar'Adua, that when he fights, one person has to go. That are too much of a... Those statements are not statements that should be coming from the kind of person of El-Rufai. El-Rufai is a manipulator. And this is what he does. Right. And this time around, I think he has played into the hands of government by making that statement on a national TV. It is enough evidence to put El-Rufai where the law is supposed to put him. And that is it.
All right. Thank you very much, Samuel Danjuma, APC Stars, for joining us in the program. We hope to have you some other time.
The pleasure is mine.
And Dr. Suleiman Adamu, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
And viewers, we actually wanted to have Barrister Buhari Yusuf, who's supposed to join us from Kogi. Unfortunately, the network was not in our favor, but we have to have him some other time. And that's a wrap on today's package of Daily Politics. Join us tomorrow for another interesting edition. From here, I'm Hamza Idris. Good night.